The wobbles and the voids of the entrepreneur. So, as an entrepreneur, we have a very roller coaster existence potentially with our emotions. And what I have noticed in talking to all of my clients is this pattern of when we're having a wobble or when there is what I call like a void in proof that things are working. So, how comfortable are we sitting in those spaces where we're not getting the feedback that this is actually working? So, I think there is a lot of whether or not you want to call it conditioning, um, that we can have a mindset of, we see something, we put something out and we see a tangible result, and that helps us. We like that. Our nervous system likes that. We do something, we get a result. We do something, we get a result. And so in this online world, that doing something is, putting out a social media post, putting up a new video on YouTube, sending out an email, putting out an offer, and our system is constantly scanning for recognition that that is working, that something's happening, there's a tangible thing. And there are lots of things happening out there that we can't see, we do not know all, see all. So we do our piece. We put ourselves out there and we do our thing, and our website's there. And like I said, whether your strategy is on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter. We're then waiting for the actual signals telling us that what we're doing is right. And in that space, the piece that we have to hold is the trust. The trust that we've done our piece, we've done our bit, and that actually now it's over to everyone else who is receiving that information, who is watching that video, who is reading that post. But they may not be clicking on it. They might not be commenting on it. They might not be replying to the email. They might not be showing you in any tangible way that you can see that something is happening. And in that space where we're waiting for proof that we're on the right track, that's when the wobbles happen. And that's when we kind of are then drawn to maybe do more. Okay, well, I'll post more. That's not working. That's not working. I'll post more. I'll send more emails. And if we're talking about like energetics and frequency and our intentions behind something, if we start off with an intention of, oh my gosh, I love this. This is amazing. Um, and we put stuff out into the world with that energy. That's the energy that people are going to pick up on. They're going to watch our content. They're going to read our things, and they're going to subconsciously potentially feel the energy and the intention behind what we're doing. If we then are not trusting that gap before things happen, the build, the slow builds, the gap where actually people are thinking about it, they are watching things, they are doing things, and we panic and we start putting out more posts and more content and more emails. But because we're panicking, again, do the people watching then pick up on that panic? They pick up on that energy, maybe subconsciously, and they may have been sitting there about to book, about to sign up, and we could, by doing more, actually put them off. And they start to notice that undertone of, oh, okay, they've emailed like 5 times in a day today, and they might not logically make the connection, but energetically, they might not book. So the whole point of what I'm trying to get at here is trusting that void, trusting that place, and really trying to pay attention for the actions that you are taking. What is motivating those actions? Is it because you genuinely have something else to say, something else to share, something else that you want to put out there from a place of, oh my gosh, I love this thing. This is great. I want to share it. I want to talk about it. I just had another amazing idea that I can share about it. Or are you panicking? Are you stressing? Are you doing it from a place of lack? Or are you then pulling it completely? There's so many different ways this can show up. When we don't have that tangible physical evidence that something is working, We're not holding the trust. We can either overshare and panic and set like add offers, add discounts, extend deadlines, like do all these things, which kind of shows the panic. Or the other thing that can happen is because we haven't seen any tangible proof, we stop talking about it altogether. And we think, oh, what's the point? Nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's interested. Nobody cares. And again, subconsciously or consciously, we change what we were doing. We change our behavior based on something that we can't actually see and we can't actually know the truth of it. So I have a mastermind day which I started talking about in November. It's not till April. Um, and I've mentioned it and I've put it out there and I've been talking about it, but I didn't have any bookings straight away. I haven't had a huge amount of interaction with the posts. But then over the last few days, it's January. No, it's not. It's Feb, beginning of Feb now. We're getting closer to it. We're getting closer to the time. I've suddenly had these people in my inbox and in conversation saying, "Oh, your day in April. I want to come to that. I just have a question." None of them have interacted in anything I've done. They've not commented on the post. They've not liked it. But behind the scenes, in that void, in that trust piece, they have clearly been thinking about it. They have been reading the content. They have been seeing it. I've just stuck to my plan. I'm just talking about it. Here it is. I'm reminding you, this is what I'm doing. I'm excited about it. And actually, it has been working. But had I panicked, had I done something different, I probably would have put them off. But so my point again is like trusting that these things are happening. Again, I had a new client just before Christmas and they had not interacted in a way that I could see with any of my content, but they had been online stalking me and they just came into my inbox with an email entitled, "When can I start working with me one to one?" But I didn't know that. I didn't know that was happening behind the scenes. But had I not just carried on me being me and putting my stuff out with the energy that I had, I could have put them off. So my waffly way of saying is how good are you at actually trusting those gaps, being in the void, holding true to and paying attention to what energy are you in when you're making decisions? What energy is driving your decisions? And what are you doing? And are you actually trusting that stuff is moving behind the scenes that we aren't always aware of and that we don't always see? So that's my kind of little ramble today, my pause for thought, my this is what's going on in my world. Um, Let me know what you think. How good are you at doing that? And another thing is if you recognize that that pattern happens and that wobble happens, what can you do? What can you put in place? What kind of note can you write to yourself to help you to trust that it is okay in those little quiet moments, in those voids, so that you don't burn everything down? Because that's what we need to try and get to is hold awareness across the whole space and actually be, okay, I acknowledge you wobble, you're there, love you, thank you, like it's all okay. Like what if you do notice that that is a pattern that you do, is how can you then start to create that awareness while you're in the wobble, while you are having the doubts, having the lack of trust? Is there anything you can do to bring that awareness in so that you acknowledge it, you recognize that you're in the wobble, but you don't actually react from it and you don't make any drastic decisions in it? You just let it be and let it pass. And then actually a couple of days later, something will happen and you'll be like, oh, it was all fine. So hopefully that might have given you something to think about. If you want to see more of these, then subscribe below. Lots of links below to go and find things you can scan, other way QR codes, to find what I do in general. It's all about putting together that the business and the energetics to create momentum and to help the human design and the success codex is the systems and the tools that are used to help people to build that self-trust and to actually understand themselves enough to hold those spaces and those voids while they're doing their business, their strategy, and their marketing. So it's like trying to hold the two things at once by using the tools and the information and the knowledge that we get from the human design and some of those systems to help us create that awareness of what's actually happening here and what we're doing. So I hope to see you all soon on another video.